All right, so let's just try to keep this pretty simple. So first of all, I'm using tape style monitoring, and I'm using the native low latency monitoring mode. I've got my audio device block size set to 32 using an Apollo. And it doesn't give me the greatest because the Apollo has a bunch of buffers on the front end for all the UAD stuff. So it doesn't give me the lowest latency, but it's the interface that I've got connected for now. So let's talk about the issue. Okay, well, I'm in tape style. So if I go ahead and press play, you wouldn't hear anything. But if I had something recorded, you would. So let's go ahead and record something. Okay, so this is my first pass. I'm just going to go ahead and record something now, and I'm going to talk a little bit longer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press stop because I want to do a punch in somewhere and just outline what's happening here. Okay, so now I've got this recorded, but if I was to go ahead and let's say play from this spot over here, check, check, check. This is me talking, and the minute I press play, you're going to hear me cut because I want to do a punch in somewhere, and then as I'm talking in the background, it comes back. Now, if I wanted to punch in this specific area over here, let's just hop in a little bit closer. I'll zoom in. I want to do a punch in right over here on this section right there, right? So I'll go back, I'll give myself a little bit of manual pre-roll, and then with my punch in or my auto punch enabled, we'll go ahead and do that. Let's move to here, talk a little bit longer, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press stop, check, 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 check somewhere, and just out, check, check, check. Okay, so I couldn't hear myself as I was playing. So you guys know what the issue is, so we won't go any further on that. I'll go ahead and undo this. But now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to duplicate this track. Not complete because I don't want the audio, but I do want to duplicate the track. All right, now I want to make sure this has the same input, but first of all, I'll go up here and I'm going to bring up Mutamatic. This is my workaround. Now I've set a default to come up so that it comes up exactly like I need it to. So it's set up that when it's in stop mode, because I have this input happening on this track, I don't need to hear it, so it's cutting it off. When it's recording, it is going to cut it off because we're going to be monitoring through this track when we're recording. But when it's in playing, it's going to go ahead and leave this open. So let's go ahead and monitor enable this track here. And as you can hear, I'm not hearing anything unless I was to take this off. And now obviously this is doubled up. So we'll leave that set to off. Now let's go ahead here and I want to do the exact same thing as I did. So we're going to do the exact same part over here. We're going to have this punch in. I'm going to start from the same spot. So now I'm going to go ahead and record. So I'm just going to drop in, press record, talk a little bit longer. But now you can hear over top because this plugin's opened up. But now when I start talking somewhere and then of course it continues. So that's the way that I do it. Now this is of course at the mercy of adding another track. Now if I had lots of plugins on this, we would, of course, essentially be quadrupling the plugin count because we have our monitor effects over here. Open up this, and I have my insert effects. Now, if I left this in monitoring mode, technically speaking, we would be only adding one set of plugins here, which would be monitor effects. And this is, of course, Mutamatic adds nothing. But that's the workaround that I'm going to be using, and that's actually the workaround that I plan in terms of adding some content to the blog. I plan on doing a video that shows this workaround. Anyways, I'm not sure if this is helpful to you. I'm sure you already know what the problem is, but this will at least allow you to see how I'm using a duplicate track and this third-party plugin, which allows me to open and cut off different sources in playback, in stop, and in record mode, and that of course picks it up from the transport in your DAW. So that's the workaround that I'm using. Anyways, I hope this video is useful, and we'll talk to you later. Cheers.